Welcome everyone. Today's Omid is Makos Daf Chof Gimel Omid base. So we're at the top of the page with the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, "Ashiyas ha'isam ha'odam v'chai bohem ha'kol ha'yeshev v'layava avera noisne schar ka'isam mitzvah." Anyone who sits back and doesn't do an avera gets schar like he did a mitzvah, which is an incredible chiddush. The Rivon, take a look at the top of the page, says, "Why do you get schar?" Rivon says, the Samchay Ishish Akoshe sorry, the Mashma. Misha Isach Koisai and Inoisein Chayim Loi. Anyone who does a mitzvah, he gets life. So you do a mitzvah, you get life, even for not doing an Avera. The famous Ramban that says the reason why mitzvah essay is Doichaleis essay is because essay comes from love, Leis essay comes from fear, and love is greater than fear. So therefore essay is Doichaleis essay. And the Mashmai says you get schar for doing a mitzvah, and you get einish for doing an avera. There's no schar for not doing an avera and einish for not doing a mitzvah. However, some of us want to say over here that the reason why you get schar for not doing an avera is because of the tzah you put yourself through for being this gabra and your Yitzhahara. It's for being mekayim mitzvahs as Hashem l'kechatira. So maybe that's why you're getting schar, but there's another machlekes over here, fascinating machlekes. Do you get schar for not doing an avera only if there's an isai and only if you have to try, or even if you don't have to try? The Mashmai says even if you don't have to work hard. There's a famous Rosh Salanta that says if it was once hard for you, and now you change yourself, you became a Baal Tshuva, now it's easy for you not to do this avera. So you get schar like it was the first time you were standing in front of that McDonald's, and it was incredibly hard for you to be misgaber. Now you get the same schar every time, because you made that your darga, you created that darga. Maybe your subconscious mind still has to fight the battle. So says the Mishnah, Reb Shimon ben Rebbe, Omer, Hari hu Omer. It says in the pasuk, Rak chazek lebilti echol es adam. Just strengthen yourself. Don't eat blood. Ki adam hu hanefesh, because the soul is in the blood. What if blood should nafshe shel adam? A person is disgusted by blood. No one likes to eat blood except for crazy people. No insult there, whoever's crazy. If you don't eat blood, you get schar. Gezel, varayas, stealing someone's brand new, whatever it is, stealing an arayas. Shenafshe shel adam misave lehen. The people do naturally want it. People desire. So if you hold yourself back and you don't, you're not over gezel varayas. How much more so do you get schar? If you get schar for not eating blood, how much more so do you get schar for not stealing, for not doing other various where there's a big taiva? Shiz gelai v'ledeireisav v'ledeiris deireisav. He will be zeicha, his kids will be zeicha, his grandkids will be zeicha. Ad saif kol hadaris, for eternity. So Mishnah says that if you hold back from doing an avera, for eternity there's a reward for your kids and your grandkids. Chanani ben Akasha, this is the most famous Mishnah in the whole world, because every time someone sits down and learns, they want to say a kaddish, they say this. We have to say with the nigun. Hashem wanted to be mezaka Yisrael. He wanted to give them zchuyot. So therefore he gave them Torah or mitzvahs. Many Torah, many mitzvahs. We're going to see in a second. It's Taryag 6:13, for whoever doesn't know. And why it says Hashem Chofetz Leman Tzidkai Yagdu Torah V'Yader. Question is one of the questions is there's so many averos. It's not just mitzvahs; you get many averos there. So maybe who says it's a chus? Maybe it's a punishment. And the answer is that well, there's many answers, but one option is that it doesn't mean he wants to give us freebies. Go ahead, it's free. He wants to be mezaka you. He wants you to become a tzaddik. He wants you to become to be zeicha. You have to work on it, but he gives you 100,000 of different ways to be zeicha. Each one's a challenge. It's not a freebie. It means you've got to work. But you have the option to fight and work and get it. It doesn't mean it's easy. But you've got the opportunity. You've got a job opportunity to get Olam Haba. The Rambam learns that, why does he give us so many mitzvahs? Because according to the Rambam, it's a sheet all over the place, is that the Olam Haba, the Ikar Olam Haba person gets is from doing one mitzvah properly. All you need to do is one mitzvah properly. There's a few rides like that, and you get Olam Haba. So therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I'm going to give you so many mitzvahs, it's not shaykh, you're not going to do one of them with ava, with love. Because he says, Rambam first, the Olam Haba person gets is for doing Torah mitzvahs with ava. Okay. Says the Mishnah, says the Gemara, the friends argued, so they held that Reb Chananya ben, he held that once you get Malkus, there's no Kares anymore. And Rabbi Yochanan says, they argue, they say that even if a guy gets Malkus, there's still some Kares still remains. Amar Vada Barava, Amri Beirav, Taninon. Ein ben Shabbos Yom Kippur. There's nothing between. There's no difference between Shabbos and Yom Kippur. Ela shezeh zedayim b'dei Adam. One is punished by man, and one is punished. Shezeh zedayim b'koros min hashamayim. Koros is min hashamayim. So Shabbos is b'dei Adam, skila, and Yom Kippur is koros. V'misa, if it's true what you said, idivit, that person gets malchus and he's no longer gets koros. V'misa idivit b'dei Adam. Then they're both b'dei Adam. Even Yom Kippur is b'dei Adam. He gets malchus for being mechal Yom Kippur. So obviously people think Yom Kippur is much more serious. Turns out not. Yom Kippur you get malchus for, and Shabbos is skila. Quite a difference. Nachman by Yitzchak Mahal Mani. Who is this? Who's the author of Mishnah? Rabbi Yitzchaki. This is Rabbi Yitzchak, the Amma Malchus b'chayvei krisis leisa. He says there is no Malchus by chayvei krisis. The time Rabbi Yitzchak Omer, Rabbi Yitzchak says chayvei krisis b'chlal hayu. V'lama yotzes kares b'chaysai. All arayas have is a krisis. So why did it say specifically kares in the case of a chaysai? V'lama yotzes kares b'chaysai. Ladun b'kares v'loi b'malchus. Tell me you get kares and not malchus. So Rabbi Yitzchak says, whenever there's kares, you don't get malchus. That's why he doesn't hold like this other shita, like Rab Chanani ben Gamliel, because he holds that you don't get kares, you don't get malchus whenever there's kares. Rav Ashi Omar Filetei Marabanan. You could say this is Rabbanan. Zeh ikas daina b'dei Adam, zeh ikas daina b'dei Shomayim. Here, the main punishment is b'dei Adam. Here, the main punishment is b'dei Shemayim. So even though you could get Malchus, but still, if you don't get the Malchus, you weasel out of it somehow, there's still a punishment b'dei Shemayim. We paskin like Reb Chanani ben Gamliel. This is how we paskin. So we paskin that if a person gets Malchus, there is no chiyuv kares. Amar Rav Yosef, Rav Yosef asked a pasha kasha. Man salik le'ela v'asav v'amar. Who went to Shemayim and told you what happens in Shemayim? Fascinating Gemara. Who told you that in Shemayim, just because you got Malchus, there's no kares left? Who went up to Shemayim and told you that? Who told you that secret? If that's the case, what did Rabbi Shua ben Levi said? Shloisha dvarim also beisin shel mata, v'skimu beisin shel ma'al al yodam. Rabbi Shua ben Levi says 3 things they did downstairs and beisin down here, and beisin and Shemayim agreed. So man salik le'elev asav Abba, who told us that the Beis Din Shemayim agreed to them? So I guess he's saying is, yeah, we know what Beis Din Shemayim hold. Elo, no. He says something else. Krod kadashinon. How does Rabbi Shua ben Levi know his thing? How do we know this? Because it's a pasuk. Chazal u'daish psukim. That's how we know that Shemayim agreed. Hachinami kroi kadashinon. Just like with Rabbi Shua ben Levi, it's based on psukim. It's not based on someone going to Shemayim and knowing the Beis Din Shemayim agreed. Here also, it's based on psukim. Gufa. Okay, what is this Rabbi Shua ben Levi? What is he talking about? Omar, Rabbi Shua ben Levi, Shleisha Dvarim, also Beis Shemata, Veskim Beis Shemala, Al Yodom. 3 things were said down here, and they agreed on in Beis Shemala, Veilehen, Mikra Megillah, V'Sheila Shalom B'Shem, V'Avas Meiser. Reading the Megillah on Purim, saying Shalom to your friend with the Shem Hashem, Yivorecha Hashem, or Baruch Atah Hashem, V'Avas Meiser. And bringing Meiser, so we'll see. Mikra Megillah Dichsev. What's this Mikra Megillah business? It says in the pasuk, Kimu v'kibla Yehudim, Kimu l'mala masha kiblu l'mata. Meaning they were makabel down here to read the Megillah, and in Shemaim they agreed to say V'shel Shalom Dichsev. What's this Shel Shalom? It says in the pasuk. It says in V'shel. It says in the pasuk, V'nei Bayaz ba mebeis lechem v'yom elokeitzim. Bayaz said, Hashem emachem. He used with the Shem Hashem. So you see that you can use the Shem Hashem. V'aymer, and it says another pasuk, Hashem imach gibachal. Hashem is with you, strong soldiers. My v'aymer, why do you need another pasuk? Chitei mebayis u'david medaitei u'mishmai lo yiskimu al yoda. You might think that Boaz said Hashem imachem, but Shemaim, they don't agree with that. You can't do it. So therefore you have a v'aymer, Toshma v'aymer Hashem imach gibachal. This is a malach that said this. Havas ma'isa dichsiv. Hevius called Maisa Beis. Sorry, Hashem that since the Malach also said this, we see that the Shemaim they agree to it. You can be Koyah B'Shem. The question is, what's the problem with being Koyah B'Shem? Or why do you need Beis Yishal Malach to agree with Mikra Megillah? The problem is each one of these things has a Chashash Issa. Mikra Megillah, you can't be Moisef on the mitzvahs. You say, Ashekid Shalom says if it's on a Likra Megillah. How are you Meisif on mitzvahs? We've got Taryag mitzvahs. Halamah, Beis Shalmala, they agreed. Also, Sheila Shalom, there's a bunch of opinions why you can't, what's the Havamini? You can't say Yevorecha Hashem or Hashem Emachem with the shame, either because it's Maske Shem Shemayim Levatol, it's also to do maybe, or because it's a Zilzul, the Rivon here says, it's a shikl zilzul. Rashi says, Likutei Rashi, I read, he says, you're using the kavod of Hashem for the kavod of Briyas. You're using the Shem Hashem to be mechaber people. That's a zilzul. So now, you're allowed to do it. You're allowed to use the Shem Hashem to greet people with. Some Achronim want to say it's because maybe you'll meet a person in Mokum Tunuf, where you're not allowed to say the Shem Hashem. And so as a Gzeiri, you should never say Shem Hashem like that. You should never greet someone with the Shem Hashem. Okay. Says the Gemara, Havas Maisa Dechsiv, what's Havas Maisa? It says in the Pasuk, Aviv is called Maisa, Beis, Oitzev, Hitev, Bevesi, Bechulin, Bezois. It's a long Pasuk. Am Hashem Tzvakisim, Lo Yeftech Lachem, Es Arubois Hashemayim, Merikes Lachabrocha, Blidai, also famous Pasuk. So what does it mean, Mad, Blidai, Amor, Ami, Varav, Ad, Yivlis, Ifesechim, Meloi, Medai. Okay, Amar Rabbi Elazar, begin with Makos Hefir Ruach Kodesh. Ruach Kodesh showed up in 3 places. Beis Hashem, Beis Shmuel, Aramasi, Beis Shlomo. By the way, someone to understand why is it? How can you be? Well, let's see. Let's see it inside. It says the Gemara. Beis Hashem Dechsev Vayaki Yehuda Ve'Vetzak Bermeni. Yehuda said, "Yeah, she's right. I'm the father." So the Gemara asks, how does Yehuda know that he's the father? Just like Tamar was hanging around and waited for Yehuda, maybe other people came to her. So how does he know that the child's from him? Maybe she was mizana with others. Good kasha. So Baskal said, Mimeni. So Yehuda said Tzadka, she's right. And the Baskal said Mimeni. He didn't say Tzadka Mimeni, he said Tzadka. Baskal said Mimeni Yotza Kvushim. From me, from Yehuda came the Kvushim. Who's Kvushim? So the Rivon says there, Shnei Bolim Alalu Lichpa Sha'ilam. Parrots and he says, let's see Rashi. Shnei Bolim Alalu Lichpa Sha'ilam Shari Osid David the Mashiach Lotis Memena. So David the Mashiach, the 2 people are going to be kovesh the world. They come from this union. Some Achronim want to ask the Aruch LaNer, why should Yehuda be chayshish? What do you need a baskal for to be chayshish? She was mezana. Now that he knows he was mezana with her, she wasn't stam zaina. He was mezana with her because she beheta. Why should you be chayshish that she was being mezana with other people? So he says because they told her. The pasuk says that she was that when they came to tell Yehuda that she was mezana, and also she was hara. She's pregnant, but they first told her that she's mezana. So he was chayshish that maybe she was mezana. But basically, Shmuel dechsiv in yani anu bi neged Hashem neged Mashiach yeshar milakach devei leya shaktanu v'leya tzisanu. He said, "Did I steal anyone's donkey?" And he said, "No, you didn't take." V'yemer ad Hashem ad Mashiach kilei masasim biyadi ma'uma v'yemer ad v'yemer aid. They said, "We're a witness." So he said, Shmuel said to the whole Klal Yisrael, "Did I ever take a donkey from you, a sheep from you?" They said, "No." He said, "Witness." They said, "Witness." In other words, yeah, we agree. We're witnesses. V'yomer v'yomer. They shouldn't say they said. V'yomru. They said, plural, not v'yomer. So who's v'yomer? Yotza baskal v'amra. It was a baskal that came and said it. Yotza baskal v'amra ani ei b'davazeh. I'm also a witness. And what was the basis of Shlomo? The famous story, one of the most famous story in Tanakh, maybe. Basis of Shlomo, t'chsiv v'yan hamelach v'yomer tnula sayeled. Shlomo said, give her the kid. He was about to chop this baby up with a sword, and he said, give it to the mother who was screaming, don't cut it. Sorry, don't kill him. She's the mother. So the Gemara asks, Minayada. Dilma, how did Shlomo Melech know that she was a real mother? Dilma, Arumi Komarim. Maybe the fake mother, the lying mother, was playing a game. Maybe she was pretending. So Yosef Baskal v'amra hiyimai. So the Baskal came out from Shemaim and said hiyimai. Someone asked, how do you paska based on the Baskal? We don't paska based on the Baskal. So someone will say it's because it's a Rasha. You can use a Baskal for Rasha. You just can't use a Baskal for a continuous psak. Others want to say that Baskal can't paskin a shailin halacha, what's going on in Shemayim. Torah lav b'Shemayim, it's not Torah. This is to be Muvar Metzias. The Muvar Metzias, you can use a Baskal. It's a fascinating kasha. So it turns out that the whole thing with Shlomo Melech, a Baskal told him. According to the Havana of the Gemara, at least. How do you know it's a Baskal? Maybe Yehuda knew it's his child because he made the cheshbon, the months and the days. He knew, this is my baby. And he knows he was with her, so the chazaka came from him. We don't know if she was with anyone else, so there's no chazaka came from anyone else. So it wasn't a Baskal. Yehuda made the cheshbon. Shmuel nami, in the case of Shmuel, also, the reason why it says va'amar, not va'amra, is because the whole of Klal Yisrael together is called va'amar. The chsev Yisrael noisha b'Hashem. Yisrael is one unit, we're considered one, and therefore it's in the singular. Shlomo nami, the case of Shlomo nami, midahah kamarachma v'haloi kamarachma. So he saw that one mother had rachmanis on the baby, and not that she had rachmanis. Yeah, it could be the fake one could have pretended she had rachmanis and said, don't kill him. But the fake mother said, go ahead, kill him. She saw the fake mother didn't have rachmanis. Ella Gomra. So the reason how we know this is because he was mekabalit. It's not from Svara, it was all a Kabbalah. You're right, it could be that, and it's a Kabbalah that these were Gzeres HaKat, that it was a Baskal. Dorsh Vasimlai, Sheish Ma'ais V'Shleish Mitzvahs Nemer Moshe, there's 630 mitzvahs, Shleish Moshe Shishim Lavin Kaminya Meisachama, there's 365 like the days of the year. Masayim V'Abba Mishmayna, Esa Keneged, Eivarin Shel Adam. And there's 248 mitzvahs, essay like the bones in the body. Omar of Amnuna, Micro, Torah Tzivla Moshe, Moshe Meirasha, Torah Begamacha, Sish Meya, Vechad Srei. Torah is Gemacha 6:11. Anoichi Velayelecha Mepiag Gvor Shemanum. And these two we heard from Shemayim, from HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Aseres Adibros. So together you have 613. Someone asked, but we heard all the Taryag, all the Aseres Adibros. Okay, interesting question. We'll get into a different time. Cult of